Oh, hello, beautiful people. It's your girl, BL. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome and welcome back. I forgot my spiel for a second. Anyway, you get it. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your presence. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your effort. Your energy is so nice. I appreciate you being here. So, the name of the game, I'm sure you already saw the title. We're talking about Taurus. Taurus energy. You were getting into it. The zodiac sign of Taurus. I have so much to say. So much. First things first, I am very intuitive. I am an intuitive astrologer, if you will. Call me an astrologer. Hey, I keep getting more and more open to the title of astrologer because why not? I don't really give myself that many titles, but as time goes on, I'm sure I'll start to. So yes, I'm an astrologer amongst many other things, right? I'm very intuitive. I am not really kind of mainstream on how I talk about astrology. It's just what comes to me intuitively in aligned ways. Before I start my videos, I always connect to my divine team, meditate, you know what I mean? So the type of vibe you get from me is very conversational. We're just gonna get into it. You know, I have a bunch of videos coming out after this about astrology, so we just let out whatever comes out and we go from there. Second things first things first, second things second. All 12 zodiac signs live in us. I say this as often as possible because we all need to know this. You have Taurus in your birth chart, in your energy. The characteristics live within you. We all have all 12 signs. I am forever preaching this because it's necessary. We need to know. If you're pointing fingers at Taurus, haha, joke's on you. You have Taurus in your energy. You know, we all have it. I have it. And if you love Taurus, then hey, you know what I mean? It's Taurus time to shine. We're going to talk about it. So yeah, I do think that that's something so important to mention all the time. There is a need for us to take advantage of all 12 zodiac signs because they all tell a story. We all have it in us. And if you're like, Taurus, well, I don't have that in me, then you absolutely do because your birth chart has houses. What area that affects you the most is what matters when you have your birth chart. But if you don't have your birth chart, it's really just understanding where this energy shows up in your life and how to tap into it more or how to use it to your advantage from a high vibrational place and not from let's make it work for me, you know, because a lot of people be like, oh, I'm such a Taurus, you know, that's just how I am. No, I don't do that over here. Like, we're going to take responsibility. We're going to take accountability. You know what I mean? Wow, I'm a little sharper in this energy. My other videos, I was a little more chill, but this, I'm real sharp with Taurus. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I just feel my energy very sharp. So I'm like, I'm probably going to get into it with Taurus because Taurus is a tough cookie. It's very stubborn energy. And we all have stubbornness in us. I don't care what you say. If you're not stubborn with your loved ones, you might be stubborn with your pet. You might be stubborn in the area of learning because you're like, no, that's incorrect. The houses will explain what area you have it in. Or you could just vibe out and be like, oh yeah, I am stubborn in this area and be honest with me in this video or with yourself, you know? But yeah, Taurus, woo! Very stubborn. However, so needed, so necessary. Taurus is all things money, valuables, building a life of stability. Oh my goodness, stability when it comes to Taurus and Cancers. We'll get to that. But the stability is so important because let me say something. Taurus energy want what they want. And we all have that in us. We want we want and we're gonna make it happen. It's just whereas Aries energy is gonna by any means make it happen, Taurus is more this is working for me, let me stay here please. Hey, the foundation seems set enough. I'm good. I've been good the last few years. Let me stay right here. Let this life stay exactly. Oh, okay, I'm missing this little thing. All right, let me take a step over here to see if it'll help me to call in what it is that I'm calling in, or I could tell the next person about it so that they can make it happen for me. Do you know what I mean? Taurus energy is giving, I like my comfort. Don't piss me off. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where the stubbornness comes from. It's like, life is good when this happens. If you don't have it yet, it's when this happens, I'm good. Even if everything in your soul, everything in your heart is saying, walk away from that. I know you've been with that person 10 years. I know you've been living in that place for 3 years or even a few months, but it's not working for you. Be very careful. Be very mindful. The Taurus energy in us is going to be like, what are you talking about? Like, couldn't be. Couldn't be, and so that's it's just tricky to work with. There's pros and cons in every single zodiac sign. So I'm gonna give you the harsh truth about Taurus, and I'm gonna give you the really lighthearted stuff, or whatever comes in my mind, to be honest. But yeah, and I've studied astrology, by the way, for years, like 6 years at this point, more than that. But the true studying has been about 6 years. And so from an intuitive standpoint, we all want what we want when it comes to Taurus, period. It's giving, I want to be able to shop and buy what it is that I want to buy as often as I want to buy it and get it and do it. And so if that means I need to work at this job to make it happen, fine, I'm going to do it. Mind you, the job could or couldn't be in alignment. The point is, I need this. Or entrepreneur sounds cute and all, but my stability matters. So do I have a sugar daddy, or do I have someone that's going to take care of me? Because if so, I'll leave the job. But you have to show me proof that shit's going to work out for me. And then I'll maybe take the risk. You know what I mean? Like, that's really Taurus energy. It's giving, how can I make sure that I get consistency in my life and can stay kind of snuggled up in my comfort zone? Taurus energy like comfort. Who doesn't like comfort? Comfort is actually very important in this lifetime. If you had nothing that you wanted and strived for and wanted consistency for, that'd be sad, right? It's necessary. This energy is actually important. What's even more important though is where the energy is coming from. Like, do you want that thing because that's the popular thing and that's what everyone's going to make you feel validated in because you have that brand, you're wearing that really luxurious brand, so that's why you have to have it? Or is it the actual mission behind the brand? That's why you actually want to support it and you're stubborn about this brand and you don't want to break away because the mission matters. Why you want the things that you want really, really, really have to be has to be thought about when you're in the Taurus energy, when you're taking advantage of that energy. It's, yes, designer this, designer that. I'm not knocking you. Quality is important. I get that. However, is it just for show? Is it just because the person that you're with, the person in your life, in order to keep them around, you have to show up a certain way and look a certain way, be a certain somebody? It's very important to tap in on why you're doing the things that you're doing. And I know that's important in life in general, but especially with Taurus because money is involved and you don't want to sell your soul when it comes to Taurus. Yes, I can sell my soul. We're going to go there. And sell a soul, yeah, from a spiritual deep standpoint, black magic, blah, 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 fine. But I'm talking, you do things so out of alignment to get the thing, to keep the home, to be the person that is taken care of. You know what I mean? Like, it's so important to make sure that you're not selling yourself out or selling yourself short. If you have to take this risk in a certain area, sometimes it means letting go of your comfort zone. Sometimes it means, yeah, you do have to go back to the cheap brand for a few months, my dude, my girl, because that's what's asked of you right now. Are you willing to do that? Or does your world go crumbling and crashing down, and that stubbornness in you may make you feel very hurt, very pissed off that you have to get a downgrade? And so there's a level of like, take a piece of humble pie when it comes to Taurus. Like the word humble, I'm not so obsessed with because I think it has many layers to it. However, yeah, it's just giving, can you just take a pay cut and be okay because this is actually more in alignment with where you're going in life? Can you be okay with not being, it's not even about the best in the room. The Taurus energy, it's not about the best. It's just good enough for you. Like, it has to be good. Did I spit? I think I did. Sorry. It has to be good enough for you. It has to be a true want. And so your deepest desires, your wants, your needs, that is your Taurus energy guiding you. And a lot of times, if, for example, you desire, crave, want, need, love, right? That is something that can keep you around a certain situation, a certain job, because you love the job so much and you're so attached to the paycheck, you're so attached to this, that, and the third. It can keep you in a very toxic relationship that may include domestic violence or something like that, because hold up, I have to lose what? I have to live how? I don't want to. That's the like, dang. Because Taurus is asking you, what do you want? So if you don't want to, it's tough to convince you otherwise. And a lot of times Taurus kind of have to learn the hard way. Something has to be kind of ripped away from them in order to really get the picture. Like, for example, where my Taurus is in my chart, I'll talk to y'all about my birth chart one day. But I had to learn a lesson of clothing, actually, and how I was hoarding clothes. I would give it away to my siblings. I have 3 little sisters, and I would give it away constantly. I'd give bags and bags of clothes, but I still have bags and bags in my house. You know what I mean? Like, I was overdoing it, and I always felt like I needed to have a bunch of outfits, and that was around a time where my body wasn't where I wanted it to be, and I just needed to look good when I went out. And so I was always obsessed with going to the clearance rack or going wherever. So it wasn't about expensive or anything. It's just about, I have to have many options. When I was traveling with my girls trip, on my girls trip, and I had a bunch of girlfriends, I would always overpack because I was obsessed with looking the part and needing to look the part. And even when I was my suitcase was overweight, I was stubborn about taking clothes out or packing lighter because I need this. It's this thing where I feel validated when I look good. Now I barely own much clothes. Like, I'm a whole different person. But in the past, I was such a stickler on, I need to find clothes. I'm ordering online. I'm ordering in bulk, like so much stuff. And I needed it. I had so many closets of clothes. And I've even talked about this before, but, getting rid of clothing that has really tough memories or tough things involved in it. I'm very big on energy. And yeah, if you don't have the money to do that, I understand it. But at least the awareness that, oh, I wore this outfit the day X, Y, and Z person passed away. And so whenever I see that outfit, I think of that versus clothes where you're neutral or you have happy memories with. It's like releasing yourself from it versus, this designer bag that someone gives me. I have to hold on to it because it's a designer and I love it. Oh my gosh, I could never get rid of it. Meanwhile, it holds painful memories. This home that you've experienced tough things like sexual abuse and all that, but yet you find yourself needing to keep it, the things that you need to keep. Be mindful that Taurus energy can be stubborn. And so being honest with yourself is so important. It's so crucial. A lot of times you will get tempted into things because people will convince you that you need it. It's necessary. Even a salesperson, like, you have to have this thing. It's like the convincing, it's commercials online, but meanwhile, you don't necessarily have the budget for that thing. But because you think that's going to validate you or because you think you have to have it, you might take the wrong turn, And so Taurus season is specifically between April and May. And so that is when that energy is very potent. And so be careful and mindful when you're shopping around that timing in that area. Taurus energy is also really good at understanding how to be comfortable and how to live a really peaceful, aligned life and to call in loads of money. It's all about just aligned money and not, things that don't align with you. Like, if you believe in, for example, sleeping with people for money, then that's something that's in alignment. But if you don't do it. You know what I mean? You can't go against yourself because then that will X, Y, and Z. But if you're okay with it, that's different. It's things like that. It's just, what is your truth, and making sure that society isn't the reason why it's your truth. You know what I mean? And it's actually from a heart space, from a deeper space, because wanting something is a big deal. Like, when you feel like you want something so bad and you can't have it, that can mess with your confidence. It can mess with your idea that you're even worthy of things, of people, of connections, because you look a certain way, you act a certain way, you got the hair done. I used to be the wig girl, wig down. I would have a wig every time. I still would be able to wear my natural hair out, so it wasn't too bad. But I always felt like, oh, I'm tired of my hair. I need to put a wig on. I need to have it. I want it. And so I was buying wigs left and right and doing all this stuff. And I was kind of falling out of love with my natural, true look. And I had to take a moment and be like, yo, that's not right. And so my image was hit a lot. The way that I showed up in the world, I have to stay in corporate America and I have to make this money. That's what I was where I was at. But then my divine team messages, dreams would show me like, oh no, this isn't your path necessarily right now or anymore. I'm not going to speak on the future, but it's just not your path. So how about we pivot? And there was a point where I was stubborn. I would cry, I would this. And of course that's valid, especially if you're changing your life in any way, you know, but even people that hoard their homes with things, they believe that they need that. And so getting clear on why you need the things or want the things that you want is so important. That energy can drain you, you know? And so Taurus in 7th house is like house of relationships. That can be, you know, the comfort that relationships give you. So even when you don't feel like it aligns with you anymore, you feel like you need that friend group. You need that connection to that man, that person, that woman, because it brings that level of like, yo, we had an apartment together for 3 years. Why would I shake that up? Why would I change anything, you know? And so if that works for you, then great, because Taurus also helps you to create a comfortable environment for yourself, to call in the money to keep that relationship together and continue living together. It's all about alignment. It's all about why you're doing the things that you do. You know, like even another example for me was I ended up, at first when I bought my first car, I owned my car outright. It was a Honda Civic, cutest silver Honda Civic. Wasn't perfect, but I loved it and it held me down for years. And people kept badgering me like, when are you gonna get a new car? When are you gonna get a new car? When are you gonna get a new car? And I was like, I don't want a new car. Like, I'm fine with this. I have no car note. I'm just paying my insurance. It's great. And I started to feel like, do they have a point? But there was a part of me that did not want it. And so I still aligned with my car until at one point I started to really, really, really want a new car. And I understood that owning my car was my truth. But because everyone was getting leased cars, at this point, it was like 2020, I think. And everyone's getting, you know, the really nice cars and really this and really that. And I was like, okay, I know I loved the owning route and that's my truth. But everyone's saying leasing isn't bad. And I think it's kind of smart, but like kind of have my doubts about it. But whatever, I want the newest car. Mind you, my true truth is I want to own my car and I want a car that's reliable. I don't need the newest car, right? But my ego, my want, my stubbornness is like, no, I want a newer car so I don't have to worry about issues or problems. Mind you, my car, my Honda Civic did not give me issues. I just had to keep up with maintenance. It wasn't until the end that it started to give me little stuff with the brakes and this, but like that was wear and tear. That was normal stuff. I was on the highway all the time with that car. Like, oh, that was my baby. But I let society, I let the world, I let the people around me, I let my wants, my ego really tell me like, no, I have to get this. And I leased the car and it got repoed. It got repoed after the 3 years because it was a 3-year lease. And so I really got my use out of it, kind of, because it was also like 2020, things were shut down and stuff. So I didn't really use the car as much, honestly, but I still got the use out of it towards the end. I lived out in my car. If you know my story, you know my story. Go back and watch. But yeah, it was just this journey where I was like, I never aligned with leasing, but I needed to have the newest car and I needed to do it how everyone was doing it. And it just wasn't my truth, right? But the good thing is I did feel like it was time for a new car and I was accurate about that. And my car, actually the old car, someone ended up hitting it while it was parked or whatever. So I ended up having to deal with that. And I actually got paid for it and all that. So it worked out great. But you know what I mean? It's just this thing where the idea may not be off. It's just how you go about it or the thing you get. Like, yeah, you need new clothes, but where are you going to get the new outfit from? Does it have to be the biggest, craziest brand, or can it be a mid brand that you believe in that seems really good, that has good reviews, and you know, and you know what I'm saying? Like, or it's vice versa. It's you are at a place where you can do that big thing, but you're lowballing yourself because someone told you can't. It's always interchangeable. Vice versa, however you see it fit it. Put the shoe on and make it fit. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, when Taurus energy is in comfort, is in happiness, joy, so lighthearted. It's such a good energy to be in. That's when you can really sit in gratitude. Taurus energy is when we're the most grateful for the things that we have, because We're like, yeah, I did that. Or like, yeah, I got that. You know, Taurus, they ain't mad at someone providing it too. They're like, as long as I got what I got, I'm good. You know, and so it's a beautiful energy. It's just all about why, how, when you do things and when you're not doing things, like getting out of a situation you need to get out of, or letting go of something that is way long overdue. It's things like that that you have to pay attention to when it comes to Taurus energy. You know, but wherever it is in your house, if you have Taurus first house, it is about image and looking the best and showing up the best and showing people that you do have money and making sure that people know, like, I can afford this, I can afford the brand. You know what I mean? Because first house is all about you, your internals. You know, there's different houses. I don't want to go through all of them, but it's just being so aware of this tendency in your life. Where do you get comfortable? You know, do you get comfortable when it comes to learning? That's ninth house and leaps of faith and stuff. Maybe you're somebody, you're like, I don't need any more information on anything. I'm good. And it's just like, no, you should want to explore more and actually grow a little more. Don't stay in your comfort zone. Actually challenge yourself to read that hard book, you know? But yeah, Taurus have a really good rep, in my opinion, of being homebodies because they're content. It's a content energy. When you're in your most content, like, my bed, you are tapping into that Taurus energy. A little bit of Cancer energy can be in that too, but really Taurus, because it's just you get what you want. When you get what you want, you're just so like, this is nice. And it's this gratitude, especially when it comes to physical things, though. Cancer is more emotional fulfillment, like physical things. It's a very, it's an earth sign, first of all. So yes, physical reality is so important. If the physical don't match up, Taurus energy is like, what are we doing? And that's when, yeah, by any means, they're going to do what they got to do. But by any means can mean I don't got to take the action. I'll have someone take care of me. I'll date a girl to just live with them or a guy to just live with them. I'll do some things to just make it, hey, look, you know, so people with Taurus prominent in their chart, just be mindful of the decisions you're making and why, and be honest with yourself. Like, yeah, I'm using this person and I got to be careful of that. You know, if you have a friend and they're always paying for you, that's your comfort and that works out. Just make sure that you know what comes with that. If someone's always paying for you, if they throw it in your face one day, handle that and make sure you don't just take it. And it's not this thing where you're like, well, they do, so, oh, well. But it's like, oh, I just noticed what I'm doing and I also don't like that they're doing this, so let me pull back. And now I'm not going to accept that thing from them anymore, right? You know, it's your life, so you have to figure out what works for you. But that's kind of the gist for Taurus. I'm going to have so much more to say about Taurus, of course, but we're going to start here. We're going to say this is what came to me intuitively, but it's a really good, cozy energy to embrace. And, you know, Taurus, just touch grass, like enjoy the simple things in life. But the energy can also make you feel like you need to enjoy more things that are out of alignment. And so tapping in is so important to understand your truth, your why, your real reason as to what's like making you go after that thing. And if you're not going after it, why? Are you too comfortable where you're at? So just check your comfortability. If the comfort aligns, great. If it doesn't align, you know you got to push a little bit. Yeah, that's very important. Okay, so Aries energy comes before Taurus. So Aries already showed you who you are and the things you'll go after. And so a lot of times after you go after it, you get to that comfort zone in Taurus energy. So that's great, you know, so that there's also beauty in that. But like I said, from April to May, just be mindful of the action you're taking and co-sign. Be like, oh yeah, I did that and that's in alignment. Perfect. Or that was out of alignment. All right, I gotta recalibrate. I gotta, all right, hold on. You know what I mean? Check yourself before you wreck yourself, of course. So, okay, that wasn't too feisty. I started this video thinking I was gonna be feistier because the energy was giving that, but it really is just like there's pros and cons. Just be mindful. Every sign has pros and cons. Taurus energy could just cause you to sell your soul a little bit. All of a sudden, you find yourself 10 years into a relationship that you knew damn well was not in alignment with you anymore. Or all of a sudden, you're supporting something for so many years because you are nervous to challenge yourself, to think outside the box. And so that's when you do need some Aries energy. So you need to tap into your Aries side to push yourself to take action and to get out of something, you know, but the awareness is so important. Okay. That's what I have for you. Okay. Please like, comment, share, subscribe if you wish. If not, I so appreciate you being here. Your presence is a gift. So thank you. Okay. I will see you on the next one. We have Gemini. Okay. Zodiac sign Gemini coming on next. Definitely tune in. Check that thing out. I don't know where I'm pointing at, but you get it. You get it. All right. I'll see you on the next one. Okay.